Right, so in Chapter 5, we'll be looking at exponential and logarithmic functions. In Section 5.1, we will look at exponential functions and their graphs. So far in algebra, you have studied algebraic functions. And now we're going to look at exponential and logarithmic functions, which are non-algebraic functions. And we call them transcendental functions. So we have transcendental functions. So we'll look here, the definition of an exponential function. The exponential function f with base a is denoted by f of x equals a to the x, where a is greater than 0, a is not equal to 1, and x is any real number. So we have this question in our notes here, why is a equals 1 excluded? Well, let's look here. If I choose f of x equals 1 to the x, no matter how many times I multiply 1 by itself, its answer is always 1. So this is actually a constant. Okay, so this is a constant function. Not exponential. So that's why a is not allowed to be 1. So let's look at an example here. Evaluate each function at the indicated value of x. You may use a calculator. So with these, we're really just using any calculator. You can use a scientific, and all you're going to do is use the little caret button. So you'd have 2 and then to the negative 3.1. And when you have that, you're going to get a value of 0.1166291. We can also take 2 to the negative pi. And when we take, that's to the positive pi. Right, so 2 to the negative pi is going to be 0.1133147. And then if we take 12 for our example C to the 5/7, we will get 5.8998877. And finally, we can take 0.6 to the 3/2, and you will get 0.4647580. So this is simply just evaluating, so typing these values into a calculator. All right, so now let's explore the graphs of exponential functions a little bit. So we have example 2, graphs of y equals a to the x. So in the same coordinate plane, we're going to sketch the graph of each function. So 2 to the x, we know that 2 to the first power is, or 2 to the 0 power is 1. So when we let x be 0, we have a point at 1. 2 to the first power is 2. 2 to the second power would be 4, but that's above our graph. Okay. 2 to the negative 1 power would be 1/2. Then we get 1/4. So we can see that we have an exponential function here. I'm going to circle this in blue. So we have our sketch of our graph here. I'm going to switch to a different color for the g of x here. So g of x is 4 to the x. So we can do a similar thing here. 4 to the 0 power is 1. 4 to the first power would be 4. 4 to the negative 1 would be 1/4. Then we would have like 1/8. So again, we have something that kind of looks like this. So here we're going to compare values for each function using this table. So we'll start here with, and I'm going to keep the colors kind of going here. So we'll start with 2 to the x. So 2 raised to the negative second power is going to be 1/4. 2 to the negative first power is 1/2. 2 to the 0 power, like anything to the 0 power, is 1. 2 to the first is 2. 2 squared is 4. And 2 cubed is 8. So then we had 4 to the x power. 4 to the negative 2 is 1/16. 4 to the negative 1 is 1/4. 4 to the 0 is 1. 4 to the first power is 4. 4 squared is 16, and 4 cubed is 64. So we can see how rapidly these functions are actually growing. Let's take a look here. We're going to graph now 2 to the negative x and 4 to the negative x. And we're going to graph these on a function below, but let's fill in the table for them first. Switch my colors here. So we have 2 to the negative x. So 2 to the negative 2, which would be 2 to the positive 2, that's going to be 4. 2 to the negative 1, that's going to be 2. And as always, 2 to the negative 0, or 2 to the 0, is 1. 2 to the negative 1 is 1/2. Then we'd have 1/4 and 1/8. Here we'd have 16, because 4 to the positive 2, negative would be positive. 4 to the positive 2 is 16. Then we'd have 4, 1, 1/4, 1/16, and 1/64. And you can look, you can see the patterns between all of those. So these should actually be, I'm just going to put a star above this. I should have written those in black. So let's go ahead and graph these. So I'm going to go ahead and graph 2 to the negative x first. So 2 to the negative x, we know we have negative 2 is going to be up at the 4. Negative 1 will be at 2. We always have a point at 1. Then we have 1/2. So we can see how this is going to graph. And then I'm going to just star this here, circle that, so we know that this is g of x is 4 to the negative x. So at negative 1 we'd be at 4. Here we'd be at 1, 1/4. Okay, so at negative 1, remember we are at positive 4. So positive 4 would be about right here. Okay, so we have these, and let's go ahead and compare these then. So if we compare these, we can see that just by making our exponent negative, we've reflected about the y-axis. So we've kind of switched the direction that our graphs are going. And as we get into this later, you'll notice that up at the top, we have what we call exponential growth. And at the bottom, we have what we call exponential decay. Okay. And these have many real-world applications that we will be discussing later. Right, so continuing to compare these functions from the previous example, we're going to note that f of x, the capital F of x, was 2 to the negative x, which is actually the same thing of f of negative x. And similarly, for g of x, capital G of x was 4 to the negative x, which was the same thing as g of negative x. So we'll talk about what all of this means. So these are reflections over the y-axis. So we've talked about, like with parabolas, how they flip over the x-axis and they kind of turn upside down, and those are reflections over the x. But when they just kind of switch directions, we have reflections over the y-axis. So let's take a look now at some characteristics that we have here. So for our graph of y equals a to the x, where a is greater than 1, we have a domain, as we have with all functions. And here our domain, we can put in any x value that we choose. So our domain is going to run from negative infinity to positive infinity. Our range, remember range is all the possible y values. If you look at this, we never have anything less than 0. And we're also actually never touching 0. So we have from 0 to positive infinity is our range. Our intercept, which is actually, I'm going to label this the y-intercept. If you notice in all of our graphs, it was always 0, 1. In this particular example, as x gets larger, y also gets larger. So we say that this graph is increasing. It is continuous. So it doesn't have any breaks in the graph. It doesn't have any very sharp, like V-like points, like in the absolute value function. And this is probably one that's a little bit more new for us here, and is very specific to exponential and logarithmic functions as well as trig functions when we get to those. So we have a horizontal asymptote. And an asymptote is a line, in this case it's a horizontal line, that your graph gets very, 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 very close to, but never actually touches, and definitely never crosses. Okay, so in this case, as a to the x approaches 0, or a to the x approaches 0 as x approaches negative infinity. So the smaller our x values get, the closer and closer and closer we get to 0, but we never actually get there. All right, so let's take a look then at the graph of y equals a to the negative x. So this has some similarities and some differences to y equals a to the x. And the first thing is our domain. I can still put in any x value that I choose. So my domain is still negative infinity to positive infinity. The range of my function, because we've reflected over the y-axis and not the x-axis, is still going to be 0 to positive infinity. We're still above that x-axis at all times. Our y-intercept still 0, 1. And that comes from the fact that anytime we make 0 an exponent, our value is 1. In this case, as we move from left to right, our function is going down. So we are decreasing. It is still a continuous function. And let's take a look then at, we still have a horizontal asymptote. So here, as a of x approaches 0, or a of x approaches 0 as, or a of x approaches, I'm sorry, that should be 0. 0 as x approaches infinity. So this becomes end behavior, and instead of like with our most polynomial functions, they either go they approach infinity or negative infinity. This is actually approaching a number. So that's the difference here, and that's why we get horizontal asymptotes.